Meeting called to order, please rise to salute the flag. Pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call members, please.
Councilmember Bory,
Here.
Councilmember Hunter,
Here.
Supervisor Trombley,
Here.
Councilmember Moore and Rochester are absent.
Okay. Approval of the minutes of the previous board meeting of May 9th.
I have just one thing to add, and in regards to the minutes, and only for people as they're reading them, out in the public, there is a term that was used, I just gotta get to it, when Jennifer Jewett visited on page 2 at the bottom. She used the term 7 accordances, but I think what she meant is 7 occurrences.
Correct, I think so too.
Means 2 different things.
Mhm.
Other than that, I make a motion that we approve the minutes for May 9th.
Good catch, Rick.
Yeah, you do have a good catch. I was like, I read that, I don't remember seeing that, but yeah, that's good.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi, Annie.
Any
Hello
opposed?
there.
Motion carries. Aye, Annie. Okay. Approval of the minutes for the special meeting on May 17th. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything that needed discussion.
Just waiting for a motion.
Yeah, I didn't know if Annie had it on to catch up and
Okay.
get the May 17th meetings out in front of her.
There's quite a stack here. Oh, yeah, that's what the special meeting.
Correct.
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we approve the special meeting held on May 17th, 2023. The minutes accordingly.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now it's presentations of petitions, communications, and general question period. Please state your name and where you live, and address the board, and be glad to hear what you're.
I am Dale Page,
Monique LePage's mother.
and,
We live in the village of Champlain.
and I was asked to come by Mayor McFetridge from the village. I know that she reached out to you about a month ago maybe with petitions for a pickleball court and trying to move it into town. I just wanted to come and kind of give you a little bit of an update on that. I've been asked by the village to gauge community interest and especially with the younger generations and see what they want like happening in the village, what kind of activities, what they'd like to see. And I went and got these petitions for government funding was the goal, was to get some sort of government grants, anything like that that the village could give. And I gave those petitions to her. I know we have a copy.
She provided a copy to us as well.
I just want to interject that David and Holly Visconti are the 2 youth liaisons for the village, and we do attend the village meetings every month.
And I'm aware of that, and thank you. Thank you for doing that. So to answer your question, try to update you where we're at, it was presented to the board, I believe, at the 9th meeting last month. We discussed it, we're very interested in moving forward. There's a couple of things we're working on. I guess we haven't gone and tried to find grant funding yet. I haven't even looked into what the cost would be in our case. Currently, I've put a request in to extend the property on our park. There's a piece of property that I feel is needed for this and another project that we're working on, which is a fitness court. That's kind of a key piece, but it doesn't mean we won't put it elsewhere if I don't get it. So yeah, we do need to do more work, probably start looking at what kind of funding I can get for it. I did put an email out to the Clinton County Health Department to see if they knew of any grants for that, but, you know, I'll do more trying to find some funds for it, and then at some point, we probably should get a rough cost idea.
Well, I made a call to the Village of Rouse's Point, because as you know, they have a small court there. And so it's in a preliminary stage right now. Chris Lattimore, their administrator, in fact, we talked on the phone. He was gonna try to gather information because the pickleball court was put in place prior to his arrival as an administrator. So once we have more information, we'll have an idea in terms of what cost looks like, at least for a single court, and then we can kind of go from there. But we'll continue to look at pursuing funding.
Yeah, and if it's affordable enough, I mean, we will consider that at budget time this fall.
It's,
to
a
see if we
pickleball
can
court is
budget towards it.
half the size of a tennis court, so you can make 2 pickleball courts in
Yes, I
the
will.
size of 1 tennis court.
Correct.
But we wanted to have it at the park, the playground, but the concrete itself was $14,000.
Yeah.
With the FEMA buyout, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it would have to get federal approval, which could take years.
Yeah, it makes it difficult. Yeah, so we wouldn't have that to deal with, but I really am hoping to hear back on my request for the property that I'm trying to gain that is perfect for both that pickleball court and the fitness center.
Right.
But if that doesn't happen, then we'll just have to rearrange.
Right.
Is it always concrete that it's played on, or?
I think that some tennis courts have been converted, so it's that tennis court
Oh,
material.
Like
Almost
the
spongy.
clayish, like kinda,
But I think
Whatever you
pickleball
call
can
it,
be
but-
played on because it's a different balls, a different paddles, a different size.
I mean, it's like the equivalent of a wiffle ball, so, I mean, it can really bounce on any of those materials, so.
Do you know if anybody uses asphalt? Do you know that answer by talking to Chris?
I believe asphalt is what the Village of Rouse's Point has. So I don't know when they put in for proposals for paving certain streets or not, whether or not they had some left over and they might have used it for that, but until I hear more, I won't know.
I believe that's how they made the basketball court
I believe so. Yeah.
at the playground,
Yes,
was
it was.
leftover.
It was just, wasn't so much as leftover material, but it was kind of utilized some of the material from the
Correct.
paving.
Right.
don't
I
know
think
where
we
that-
ordered more cubic yards and kind of took care of it accordingly. So once I know more, then we can kind of get an idea of what it's gonna cost. So, but it is being pursued.
So
Okay,
yes,
we
that's a-
appreciate that,
yes.
because the youth liaisons, it's more their responsibility to come up with ideas and to help out. For example, they're working on the, and volunteering at the new children's sensory area, so they'll be painting the stumps and, you know, so then gathering other friends to help them do that.
Nice.
Perhaps help also install the 2 pieces of new playground equipment on the playground. So that's the type of things that they gather up their friends to come and help and get volunteer hours in and things like that, opposed to actually being responsible for obtaining the funding.
Right.
So I think that's where the communication breakdown, I know when I spoke to you,
Mhm.
you had asked me if I had looked into funding, and I was like, well, that's not really,
No, I didn't know how far you all had gone in the village, that's the reason
right,
that I
you just
posed
kind of, that
question.
kind of stalled,
Yeah.
understandably.
No, we'll try to find the funding.
There's definitely a need. There's definitely a desire. I can tell you that I'm part of the pickleball group in Rouse's Point. And, you know, we have to use not only the 2 tennis courts, but the actual pickleball court itself. And a lot of times people are waiting around. So there is room for probably, you know, I'm seeing maybe 2 to 3 courts up, but again, we'll have to determine what cost we're gonna look
And it's a wonderful activity
It
for
is.
all ages, and it's a 3-season activity, which, I mean, you know, people that are older, you know, little kids, because it's not, the net's not so high, there's not as much running around because it's not as large, I think it would be ideal
Mhm.
for all ages. That's what
Mm.
he and Holly had discussed.
Mhm.
I know that they have,
That's great. It's
I think they
very
have
popular.
indoor courts at the Oval, I believe.
Yes, I believe they do.
at. And they do it at the Y also,
Mhm.
yeah.
Now, is the Y still open, or do they close on? No.
From what I was told, there are some people that participate with us that actually have gone to the Y and they've competed there, so can't answer that for sure.
It's really all that we had in this.
Yeah,
one.
why is that closed? It may be moved,
I
I
thought,
think it moved on the base, but I'm
yeah,
not sure.
yeah, I didn't think it's on
100%.
Oak Street anymore.
no,
No,
but it's definitely not closed.
Right, I meant I was
If
thinking
you're in
the
the
Oak Street
building, okay.
location.
right.
That, I believe, is, positive. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for coming. Have a great night, and,
It would be nice to see.
we'll try to update you, David, and Nate, as soon as we get more information. Or if you're welcome to attend meetings like this, whenever you'd like.
Okay, we appreciate that. We
We'll
do
keep
go
moving forward.
to all the village meetings, and he's also in close contact with the mayor, because he's working with the mayor on his Eagle Scout project,
Oh, good.
so.
What is that project, may I ask?
Yeah, I plan on placing a sign actually in the park that we were just talking about for, both because the park is in honor of,
Clark?
Clark,
yeah,
yes.
it's in honor of Clark, and also because it'll be the
Quincennial.
quintennial
That's
anniversary.
right, this year? Yeah.
Mhm.
That's quite a word.
So he's planning
Yeah.
on having signage, because there's no signage at all in the park at all.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
So it's going to be a sort of a dual sign, and then maybe some shrubbery, et cetera, so that's his
Nice.
project.
It's a good project.
Mm, Thank you.
How is the membership with people enrolling in through the Boy Scouts and so on?
It's really difficult, because I did this with his older brother, and then I did this when David was in first grade. There's, right now, I think we have 12 boys and girls, because it is co-ed now, in Cub Scouts. I stayed with Cub Scouts, even though he moved on to Boy Scouts, so I'm a Cub Scout leader, committee chair for the Boy Scouts, Americouch counselor, because it's hard to get adults to volunteer, and David actually has been a junior Cub Scout leader for the last 2 years doing the kindergartners, because we have 5 dens and 4 adults. And of those 4 adults, only 1 has a child in Cub Scouts. The rest of us only have Boy Scouts, but we continue it, because if we don't have Cub Scouts to feed the Boy
Right.
Scouts, it's
Right.
going to fall apart.
Apart, yeah.
We actually had 2 youths, a young boy and a young girl, join Boy Scouts this year, which is unheard of, because usually, again, it's just through attrition, they just keep going, they bridge and they just keep going, but we did have 2, but it's gotten so expensive.
Oh, really?
It is absolutely outrageous, the fees go up every year. Then now they just added a new $25 initial registration fee on top of the fees. And then, of course, the leaders, I have to pay to be a leader. His brother Theo, I pay for him to be a leader, so he could be a merit badge counselor. But it's like $183. And, we get nothing. It all goes to the council. And now they're selling all the Boy Scout camps to pay off the lawsuits. Loch Pomini has been sold.
Lawsuits.
It's the same situation as the Catholic Church.
Oh.
So you know what I'm referring to.
Yes, I know what you're referring to. Yeah, oh, mine.
The Methodist churches no longer will charter any Boy Scout, and that was the #1 chartering organization was the Methodist Church. We're still permitted to meet at the Methodist churches, but they will no longer sign charters. So we had to switch the charter from Methodist Church to the VFW. We went unchartered and kept meeting for about 4 months this year for Cub Scouts, so we wouldn't lose the kids. But because they sold Wapomini down near Lake George, and they also sold Camp Bedford,
Which was,
that's gone too.
that was our closest camp, really.
Yeah.
I think there's a
Okay.
stipulation in Camp Bedford that we're allowed to use it 4 weekends a year. So now the boys and girls have to do their summer camping in Vermont, which is the closest, Mount Norris. Otherwise, we go to Albany, and if your child gets hurt in Albany, you don't wanna be that far away.
No.
So last year and then this year, again, they're gonna be camping in Mount Norris, but that's out of district, according to the Boy Scouts of America, and they're charging each child an extra $100. So this year's camp, the early bird was 500 for 1 week. So it's become, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but we've kind of dubbed it the Rich White Kids Club, because
Right, it's elitist.
that's
because of
really,
the money.
you know, and it breaks my heart that we can't, you know, we have parents that show up after, you know, for the first meeting or two, and when they see how much they have to pay, that's without the shirt, you know, without the Class A,
Right.
without the Class B, you know, that's just to join for the year, and all the money goes to council. We've had parents that have just
Yeah,
said, we
but
can't do it,
Unfortunately, Lily needs a lot of
and luckily,
median to lower income.
Jennifer Watson, who's a committee chair for Cub Scouts, and her husband, Tony Watson, is Cub Master. She is a genius. She goes online and she buys the books used, she buys the shirts used, she finds the patches, she makes the, you know, the Class A's and rips, you know, and so she works really hard in her free time to try to get as many shirts or books, because the books are like $20 now. They need a new one every year until they get to Webelos, and then, you know, 4th, 5th grade, they use the same book, and then they use the same book all the way through Boy Scouts, but it's become so
Prohibitive,
expensive. I mean, $500 early bird for 1 week of camp.
So just in your group, how many would you say that on an annual basis actually move up into your program?
We'll have one this year, last year we had 2, but they just
Yeah, I was gonna say,
unfortunately.
anywhere between 0 and maybe 2 or 3 if you're lucky
So
from
it
Cub
is very
Scouts to Boy
limited.
Scouts, but, I mean, part of the problem was COVID hit and we lost 2 years of Scouts, so there's
Right.
this huge generation gap almost, and
Right.
I'm stuck when I'm working by myself on my own things, and then 8 new kids show up that are all at the same place, and none of them, there's no one else to help. Because
show them.
Boy Scouts is supposed to be a youth-run organization, but I can't lead 9 kids that are doing different things at the same time, like, and the problem is, like, when you've got a bigger troop, you've got different kids at each age level, and everyone's can help each other, and everyone moves up at the same time, but it's,
Different
I know
skill
that's-
sets, I mean, that would.
It's very difficult, and we were really we were very excited that Richard McGrath got Eagle Scout, but we lost him, so we were down to 4. And technically, we need 5 in order to have a troop. So we all just kind of, you know, we didn't, we tried not to advertise it. I don't think that council wants another troop to die, because, I mean, Moore's Altona, that's long gone.
Really?
yeah, we
Yes.
take Moore's Altona or
Cause I
at least whatever
remember
we can get.
Michelle used to do that with her husband, Michelle Poisson.
They went under.
Mm.
So the only troops in the area are, we're Champlain, Rouse's Point, and we try to draw from Alberg. And then there's a Beekmantown troop that's falling apart slowly, and then also a Plattsburgh troop as well, but it's, people can't afford it. It's just gotten unreasonable, and we're paying the price
Yes.
of what happened in the 1960s and 70s, unfortunately.
Wow.
We're being, you know, punished, but I'm sure I'll be doing this until they throw the dirt in my face, because I want the kids to have this
that.
opportunity, because especially now, and some of the girls, they love it. They love it, and I always say, I promise you, you will never make a macaroni necklace, not one, not one. If you join Boy Scouts, you will learn how to use a knife, but you won't make a macaroni necklace.
Yeah, and there's a
Or
lot
salad,
of things,
Hmm?
Or salad.
Yes,
there's a lot of things you learn in Boy Scouts that you're not gonna learn at school, and you're not gonna learn until you're an adult, and there's a lot of things that are really good to know before
Valuable.
you become an adult, that
Mhm.
people just don't know, and they go in blind, and I think it's a really good program, and it just is hard to support when there's just no one there, it's frustrating.
So do they still have, when I did it, it was Cub Scouts and then Webelos? Do they still
Webelos,
have Webelos?
yes.
And then it goes to Boy Scouts?
correct, the Webelos, we do a bridging ceremony.
Yes.
So Webelos is for 4th and 5th, and we have one, because we had 2 boys just are moving to Texas because of Dad's job, but we do have one that will be bridging. We do have one Webelo bridging, and then next year, I think we're gonna have 2 or 3 Webelos, if they stay with it, that will bridge to Boy Scouts. But I just anticipate I'll just continue doing it, because there is nobody else. And, you know, that's why I've had to pick him up every Thursday and take him to the Cub Scout meetings, because we needed somebody to work with the kindergartners, because they just re-added kindergarten, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. They
Yeah,
got
they
rid of
didn't have it when I was there.
Yeah, they got rid of it for years, but what was happening is the kids would go to school for open house in kindergarten and wanna join Boy Scouts, and they're like, oh, I can't do it till next year, and then they would get interested in other things.
Right,
So,
and get lost.
and then they wouldn't join. So Boy Scouts of America smartened up and then reintroduced,
A younger.
the Lion Cubs, which is kindergarten, so.
Well, hopefully it'll grow some and come back, but it's sad if you're just barely keeping a troop together. When my kids were young, there was plenty of kids in Boy Scouts.
Oh, yeah, it was a very popular thing, I remember
Which was
mine.
big.
When Jeff and I did it, when Nick was little,
Yeah.
we had 30 kids, 25, but it was inexpensive. People
Right.
come in thinking it's like $25 a year, and we're like, no,
Not anymore.
not anymore.
Mm.
It's just gotten so outrageously expensive, so.
Mm.
But we're gonna just keep
Did
on
that,
keeping on.
that paper that we were supposed to do at the dental office, did that get filled out for you?
Yes, thank you very much. He did it the same day, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
he needed it for personal fitness. That he had,
Okay.
you know,
good.
regular dental care in his teeth. I mean,
I wasn't gone
being an
the
Eagle
next
Scout
day
is
and
not an
I-
easy task, so
No,
No,
there's so many
no,
aspects, you know, it's,
it's definitely hard work, but
That's why it's such a respectable achievement, so
it is, it really is.
kudos.
To be proud of, yeah.
so, yeah, the plan is to reveal the sign at the sesquicentennial celebration in September.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Have a
for
good
coming.
evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, report from the supervisor. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to the Champlain Technology Group for installing the town's Hometown Heroes banners. CTG is always willing to help their community, and we appreciate their support. Thank you to Country Mall for contributing 50% of the cost of 2 automated external defibrillators, AEDs, for the St. Patrick's and St. Mary's churches. This equipment will be such a benefit in a cardiac emergency and will save lives. And FYI, I have had our unit here at the office checked by EMS, and we are compatible with their equipment, which is good news. And we will be setting up a CPR and AED training for all town employees sometime this summer. And that includes the board members. So there'll be more to come. The Northern Tier Cougar Disc Golf is installed and ready for play. The course starts behind the soccer field at NCCS and ends on Bob Fenn Park. The only time that you cannot play this course is while school is in session, and you must have your own disc to play. So please come and enjoy it. It's a 9-hole course, but of course you can play it both directions if you'd like. And hopefully someday maybe we'll add another 9. St. Mary's Bazaar held on Memorial Day weekend was well attended and the weather was perfect. Thank you to the organizers and workers for this wonderful community event. The May Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours, which was hosted by Goss Chevrolet, was a great success. Thank you to Goss Chevrolet for hosting and the North Country Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event in the town of Champlain. Congratulations to the Champlain Fire District for their approval for the construction of a new fire station. There were many years of effort by many to achieve this goal, and we are looking forward to witnessing construction in the spring of 2024. Good typo. Almost said 3. The Highway Department has been busy cutting grass on the sides of our roads, parks, and cemeteries. The paving of 3 roads in the town is scheduled for some time in the next week, depending on weather, of course. This is holding them back. Therefore, they will be busy preparing the roads for the paving. Please slow down, move over, and use caution for the safety of the men working and yours. We apologize for any inconveniences that is a result of this necessary road work. Thank you to the Women of the World in Calvin-Castine for their donation of a U.S. flag for our Bob Van Park. This organization very generously donates hundreds of flags each year to area municipalities and not-for-profit groups. We had our food truck event here at town offices on May 26th. It was a very well attended event and the food was delicious. I want to thank Councilperson Bory and our secretary, Sarah Gagnon, for organizing these events. The next food truck is tomorrow night, June 14th. It is Aleka's Twisted Greek Pita Truck. It's 4 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. Come and join us. We had a leadership meeting earlier this month, and we discussed the following topics. We are planning a fun run on the rec trail starting at Bodbank Park, connecting Rouse's Point and the village of Champlain. It will be a 5K run. Specifics and dates to be determined. Proceeds will go toward the joint outdoor fitness center we hope to have for Bodbank Park next year. We are planning a poutine month once again. We will have 6 local restaurants this year. Poutine month is August 1st through the 31st. T-shirts will be awarded to participants who visit at least 4 out of 6 restaurants. Each visit must be validated by the restaurant. Participating restaurants are Porterview Grocery, Sandy's Deli, Gino's Pizza, Best Friends Diner, and Champlain Truck Stop. Discussion regarding shared services. This was also this same meeting. Administrator Latrimore from Rouse's Point and I will be attending the county shared service meeting this week on Friday. We have 2 proposals to bring to the meeting. One is shared personnel for water and wastewater, and the other is an equipment purchase. I will update next month on this endeavor. I attended our quarterly meeting with the Chamber of Commerce this month. One of our topics was our new website. And really we had quite a discussion on that, so this is cool. They provided an abundance of information and data for our industry page. As always, these meetings are very fruitful. So they shared a ton of stuff that's already, a lot of our work to be done. We just got to sit down, Jason.
Okay.
I attended the ARC annual meeting and awards banquet this month. This was a very inspiring event for me. I was awed at the so very compassionate staff of this great organization. The support and benefits that the clients and residents receive by their caregivers is astounding. We are so fortunate to have this great organization in our region. Public announcements. The next honor flight ceremony is June 17th at 7 a.m. Thank you to the Honor Flight organization and their donors for this commendable service to our veterans. The next Chamber of Commerce June Business After Hours is being hosted by Minor Institute in Chazy. June 15th, 5:30 p.m. to 7. So to our businesses and village board members, please come and join us. It's a great opportunity to network with other businesses and public leaders. Again, so that's at the Minor Institute in Chazy, main building. They have like a little museum in there. And I know you're going to talk more about a couple of these things. I'm sorry if I'm
That's okay.
stepping on it, but
Go right ahead.
the Village of Rouse's Point is holding a village-wide yard sale on Saturday, June 24th. I'm sure you'll add to that. Again, we have a new shipment of COVID test kits. The expiry date is July of this year. But if you need to get some fresh ones, because I know the ones from before, a lot of people are still holding on to them, they're quite expired. We have surgical masks and KN95 mask available. If that smoke comes back, the KN95 mask will come in handy. That smog was pretty bad. We also have mosquito dunk kits available. Please come in if you'd like some to help control the mosquito season, especially now that we're getting so much rain. And the town would like to appoint more alternates to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. Please consider serving the town in this capacity, as we need talented citizens of this township to become involved and assist us in moving forward. And then, of course, the Village of Rouse's Point's 4th of July Stars and Stripes celebration is being held June 30th and July 2nd, with many events scheduled each day, which I'm sure Jason will touch on. And the Mardi Gras themed street parade is Sunday, July 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Thank you to all of our veterans and active military men and women for your service. Please note, there are Fresh Connect checks now available for veterans or surviving spouses of veterans. Each packet of checks equates to $50 to be used at local farmers markets or farm stands. Stop in at the Clinton County Veterans Service Agency, located at the Government Center in Plattsburgh, to pick up your checks. And thank you to all of our first responders for your dedication to your community. Ends my report. Reports from council members. Councilmember Hunter?
Along those lines, with Supervisor Trombley, the Rouse's Point Fire Department will be holding their Stars and Stripes barbecue on July 2nd beginning at noon. That is, I believe the meal is $12, and that includes a half a chicken, baked potato and baked onion, along with baked beans, roll, and also a drink. As you know, when the actual fire occurred in Canada, Nova Scotia, air quality was quite poor. One of the things that I'd like to kind of recommend to all citizens that might want to keep an eye on that, I use something called IQ Air. It is a app that you can use on your smartphone. And just to give you an idea in terms of how this IQ Air works, it kind of sets it up on a scale of 0 to 500. 0 to 50, the air quality is considered good. Right now, the air quality is a 51. That throws that into a moderate category. If you have any type of health issues, it's good to kind of keep an eye on this before you go out and walk, before you go out and do any type of activity out and about in the community. And as I think so many people found when that, those few days were quite tough to kind of go out and kind of, breathe. So I'd recommend that you take a look at IQ Air. It is the highest recommended app that is on the market. Also, I have something from the town of Champlain Fire District, and they wanted me to read this. The Champlain Fire District and members of Niagara Hose Company Number 1 would like to express their sincere gratitude to the residents of the district for their most recent expression of support in the approval of their new fire station. Whether you voted for or against the new station, we appreciate that you came out to vote and showed interest and concern in your community. Many people have asked us about the next steps. The passage of the bond vote allows us to finish the preparation of the construction documents, have them reviewed and approved by USDA, and then bid the project. We are hoping that a contractor will be on board by the beginning of November. There is still much work to be done before we are ready for construction. However, we look forward to these next steps and will keep you informed as we proceed. And once again, a huge thank you for your continued support. This is from Chris Trombley, the fire chief. That's everything for villages, or the village, and also the fire department. I have nothing to report on EDUs this month. So ends my report.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Very welcome.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Bori.
All right, so I'll start with zoning board. There's no meeting minutes, so Julie informed me that the meeting was, they didn't have a meeting, and there's one scheduled for this Thursday. That would be June 15th, that's correct, June 15th?
Yeah.
That's right, yep, June 15th at 5:30 here at the town office. And that's open to the public. Is there a public hearing scheduled for that night, Julie? Think off the top of your head? No, so just the regular. Okay. Next I'll do marketing. It was very helpful that you went and had those conversations, and it's nice to know that the information that we seek is not so hard to find.
It was effective.
That's good, that's what you want, right? So, and that's what you are, very effective. It looks like I know we saw some comments from Rick, but it looks like we've got a prototype that's out that we were able to review for the new website. Looks pretty sharp. I think it's always gonna be a work in progress. I think Mr. Hunter could probably speak to that.
Yeah.
It will be, and that's the thing, we need to get it started, and then we'll just keep building on it.
Right.
So when we get to that point here, I got a couple of questions for the board, but I won't interrupt you, in regards to that front page.
Okay, but the color combinations, it's visually stunning. The new logo, I don't know if you noticed, but they were trying to hit like land and water on whether the overlay with the photos, like, so it's really good, so.
It's very good.
Yeah, very good, I should, yes,
It's
so,
very good. I need to comment to him. I haven't had time to reply to that email yet. But I'm hoping to get a conversation with him, and we'll talk about that after.
and through a little help with an email from you, we were able to get people talking, and Paul was able to share some things, and so we still have a few things to do, but Paul's been busy. I don't know if you heard this, but he and his team won an Emmy Award
Wow.
for their work on their documentary about the concentration camp.
Hey,
Yeah.
very good.
That's
That's
something.
awesome.
Yeah, Vladimir Monk's story of returning to Auschwitz 75 years after its liberation, and he and his team, they won Emmy Awards. So now we can say that our videography is by an Emmy Award winning
Is there some
director.
place that the public maybe can view that, Jay? Do you know?
I'm not aware that it lives in whole online without, I think, either contacting,
Yeah.
but I know there are DVDs for
Right.
sale, and every once in a while there is a public screening of it, so if people wanna check that out.
I didn't know if public libraries or anybody might have purchased them, or,
If I know Paul and his team, they don't wanna keep this under lock and key because they are trying to make $1 from it. What they're trying to do is get this story out and let the history be known.
okay.
So yes, I would dare say that copies are available, so people are looking to see it. It's a wonderful documentary. We had the fortunate opportunity to bring the entire sophomore class last year to a screening and get a talk back with this gentleman who is still alive, and yeah, it's really,
Wow, where was that, where did that take place?
at the Strand,
The Strand?
yes, yeah. So,
Awesome.
yes, and so anyway, but we are, of course, very proud of Paul, and we have him on our team, which is really kind of neat, so, yes. So I'll be finishing up with Paul. That's kind of as now the school year is winding down, that's my next real big push, is for us to button up the rest of those loose ends we have. We've even got still one scene to film at Hudson Headwater, that hasn't happened yet, so.
Right, Paul told me that.
Yeah, so we're finishing up that, and of course, any feedback in getting the website up and running for its big public display, which will include the videos, and I also would like to ask if we think it's worthwhile, if maybe we should, I don't use the word hire, that may be too strong a word, but maybe somehow I know a very good photographer, and I think this person would be willing to go and grab images for us if we wanted over the course of maybe the next year, and maybe we offer a nice public thank you, or there's a small little honorarium that maybe could be thrown towards them. I think they would be willing to.
So we'd have more for our
We'd
library.
have basically a stock file of,
Collage.
that's, yes. So if we wanted to pull those holiday photos, we wanted to pull the great summer boat photos, we wanna pull that, we would have this running,
Already gathered,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. So we won't have to, until maybe new things become available. That's one thing I noticed, that as we try to promote ourselves, we're missing some things that we need to have on tap and in stock.
At our fingertips.
That's exactly it, so, we need to build up an arsenal of all
Tell me
of
what
that.
you think of this, but I think we should do a press conference on release this. I think it needs to be very public.
I think that's
Why
great.
not?
Well, I think we should, if I can go back and quote the former supervisor who said something along the lines of, I don't know these are exact words, but how can anybody, how good are you if you're not promoting yourself? And that's, you know, I think P.T. Barnum was kind of one of those people that was classic for self-aggrandizing and always pushing themselves. So that's a great idea. I think we should definitely do that.
Because that gets it out there right in the forefront, right off the
It
bat.
does.
Yeah, and I think we ought to reach out to other local municipalities and ask that maybe links maybe even could be included on their website. You know, that way if people wanna visit up in this area, they have access to things that we provide here, whether it be restaurants, services, et cetera.
Yeah, and I think they already are linked, they are already applied linked from each site. So this will just get them to the new site instead.
Right. Good.
Yeah, so I think that's rolling great. The next thing on the list would be, you mentioned Hometown Heroes, all the banners are up. And yes, and I agree, I think as we see a larger number of them, it really starts to make an impact. I was telling Sarah, the corridor, the corridor, you've got 9B, you've got the corridor on 11, it's really striking, it looks really nice. Not to mention when you go through the village of Champlain and the village of Rouse's Point, it really is, it's really remarkable. So we are doing our Hometown Hero ceremony that is set for June 20th, that's Tuesday, at
6 p.m.
At 6 o'clock, that's correct, right here at the town office. Yep, we're partnering with the Champlain VFW, and of course, this is an event that is to.
What time did you say?
6 o'clock.
Thank you.
To honor, commemorate all of the people that have taken the time, the people on the banners, those people who have submitted the information about the banners, because it's possible that the people on the banners are no longer with us, so. Yeah, so we're doing that ceremony, that's coming up next week. Also, you mentioned the food truck, we had the food truck, the next one is June 14th. At the time of our taping, that is going to be in less than 24 hours. But yeah, 4 to 6:30, and that's a brand new one for us. So if you were a big fan, yes, a big fan of the food trucks last year, we're offering a new one, and that's really, like, all the credit goes to Sarah. She's the one that's on social media trying to connect with these people on the phone, and so, yeah, Aleka's, it's gonna be, I've seen a lot of response to it.
Well, it's Greek cuisine,
Yeah.
it's healthy,
Mm.
so I want to plug for that.
Oh, yeah, it's
And,
all that baklava.
It is
so
one of my
healthy.
favorite restaurants in Plattsburgh, so
Yes,
I'm
it's
just gonna
right.
put it out there.
It's,
Oh, I agree.
It's so
I agree.
good, Bill.
It's,
It's very tasty.
yes, so very exciting that they'll be here. We should mention, I think Brian probably would have said this, but I believe all of our summer youth commission sports and activities is kicking off. It's about ready to kick off, if I wanna say.
That's correct, and I believe that the applications for the swim program are going out this week.
Okay, wonderful,
Such a valuable thing for children to learn,
Oh, yeah.
without a doubt.
with our lake right there.
And are they also looking for a part-time person? Should that be announced?
Yes, it's on, it was advertised in the Sun, it's on our website. What's the last day that comes down? 16th, I believe. I believe this
Not sure.
Friday is the deadline. But yes, there's an ad in for looking for an assistant to the recreation director. So yeah, we're hoping to get some applicants and go from
Good
there.
learning
It's-
experience.
It's great, yeah, and not to mention, it's a wonderful opportunity for our town residents to be able to participate in these activities at no cost to them, so. Please consider, getting involved, get your kids signed up for those things. And you said the swimming lessons alone,
So valuable.
you get that right. And you're kind of shocked, not to go off on topic here, but when you look at the statistics of people that do not learn to swim, and the number of people who actually would be in jeopardy if they were caught in any large amount of water is kind of alarming, and that's a statistic across the country. So we're very fortunate to have a program where people can learn how to formally swim. It's a life-saving skill. Townwide, you mentioned Grouse's Point, townwide is on June 24th, that is the weekend before the big 4th of July celebration. They don't like all the traffic at the same time, so they put they put that in the weekend before. So check that out, they'll be in Rouse's Point. And then Julie, just correct me if I'm wrong, but our townwide is on August 19th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Champlain Townwide will be on August 19th. And that usually is connected with the Champlain Technology Group's Customer Appreciation Day.
Correct.
Yeah, but I don't think they're having it this year.
Oh, they're not doing
Okay.
their,
I don't think, and they're doing it every other year now.
Okay,
I didn't know
alright.
that.
It's
Okay.
expensive.
Didn't know that.
Okay.
Together, people with-
All right, so maybe that's something that, okay, well, maybe we could talk about maybe having a, I don't know, it would be a big party like that, but maybe we can have something here, maybe talk about that. Celebrate our new website.
Let's hope.
Yeah,
I've said it many times, I don't have a lot of patience. This is killing me.
and also, the Rouse's Point Stars and Stripes on the Lake Independence Day celebration, is the weekend of June 30th through July 2nd. We have, a host of entertainment down at the rec park on the Samuel de Champlain stage. There's gonna be a craft fair and vendors, we've got food trucks, there's a children's fun day. You mentioned the fireman's barbecue, we have a large street parade, which is Mardi Gras themed this year. We have a beer garden, there's going to be fireworks at dusk, there's a ton of stuff to do.
Taylor the Valley.
Yes, and so I'll make sure that Sarah gets the formal listing of all the events, so we can get that here up at the town office and get it out on our Facebook page, because I believe that's all set,
Yeah,
so.
it's on your Facebook page, we'll just have it from there, right?
Yep, yeah. So we encourage everybody to get involved. We're still looking for vendors, we're still looking for people that are willing to volunteer, we're still looking for parade entries, and we have a brand new website. I'll make sure I say the right one, because I don't wanna.
Are those Scottish guys with the kilts coming again?
Yes.
That's one of my favorites. Hoping for a little wind that day.
I apologize for the delay on this. Yes, so I typed it incorrectly and I got, so it's www.rpstarsandstripes.com. Brand new website that just, I think it just launched last week. So an all focused place where people can go to get all the information for the Rouse's Point Stars and Stripes celebration. You can sign up to be a vendor, you can sign up for the street parade, everything can be done right from the website.
That's
So,
awesome.
yes, so the web was where to go. I think that's gonna be it for me. I also wanna give a plug to that the Village of Champlain has their concert series starting in July, I believe, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So-
that's right.
Nobody should be complaining there's nothing to do in the town of Champlain, because there is plenty of activities
And-
between the two villages in the town over the
Sure.
course of the next 8 weeks of the summer.
I don't know if I have the date of that, but I know that, that first concert, Electra's will be at the food
The
truck.
food truck?
Okay.
I don't think I have that
Good to
date.
know.
So, yes, and the last thing would be, make sure that you're checking in with our Facebook page, because that's where you're gonna find out a lot of what's going on. As we launch our new website, that's also gonna be a go-to place, and our social media accounts. So if you wanna keep up with what is happening, we are trying to do our best to get that information out to you. And including one of those things would be the availability of the farmers market coupons that are gonna be available on the 14th of July.
Correct. The ones I announced
For
were
the
just for
veterans?
veterans, but then there's another
Yes.
program following.
Yes. So make sure you're watching the Facebook page to be able to get these opportunities. Whether we're announcing the townwide yard sale, whether there's a concert, whether there's gonna be an opportunity to get coupons, or there's a chicken barbecue. This is this is where you need to go to get information. So ends the report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. Councilmember Rochester.
Well, I just have a thank you to give to the Village of Rouse's Point because, well, we were in kind of a limbo between who would take care of the road in front of the dental office. We had like this trench as you would enter the driveway and the main road. And, you know, at first we were hearing, oh, well, the state takes care of that road. But they did come out from the village almost immediately after we called them and took a look at it, saw how bad it was, and then they talked about showing it to the state, but he warned me that it would be a little while before they could, probably, we would get anybody to help. Well, they ended up getting village people to come and do the paving and fix that for us, because it was taking out the bottoms of our car. And I was thinking about all the patients too. If you have a lower lying car, which I do, my jalopy was bang as I go in, so it was very nice to see that, you know, they weren't going to wait and see what happened with the state. They actually took it into their hands and came and helped us out.
Yes.
It was very nice. But that was all I had to say. I was very thankful.
Okay, thank you very much. Report from the town clerk.
Make a motion that we approve the town clerk's monthly report, May 1st through May 31st.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
I didn't read it. I
What?
didn't read it.
Oh,
Sorry, I just realized that. Better help this thing.
thank you.
Anything else? Julie? No? Okay, review of post-audit bills. Chance to look at those, any questions on the abstract? All good? And
It seems a little expensive for softballs and baseballs. Just throwing it out there.
does it say how many though?
It does not. It said
Yeah.
5 softballs / baseballs, so I don't know if they're talking packs. I hope
I don't think
there's not just
I
10
don't think-
baseballs, because that would be like
I know.
$28.
I'm gonna have to confirm that. I don't think that 5 indicates that. I don't think it's like number of
Right.
boxes or cases and anything like that. Go down to, for example, monthly billing for Aflac, one, I
Mhm.
mean, it's not, I don't think it's directly
Related to the
related to that.
purchase.
'Cause I think I've questioned that before, so I'll have to find out what that terminology is for that digit.
I do have a question on what the dust material is that they spent $2,445
That would
on,
be
what
the
it's used
stone-
for.
The stones and dust for the shoulders after they pave.
Okay, all right. And 55-gallon drum, $519.92.
So I'm
I'm not
assuming-
sure,
I'm assuming you're in the monthly.
there were two different 55-gallon drums, but one of those, I'm not sure what,
What page is it on?
no, I don't know, I'd have to look at it. I looked at it on the PDF.
Okay, but you're in the monthly bills at this
I
point,
am.
right? Okay,
Okay.
I thought you were in the abstract.
Yeah.
See, when I looked at it,
Page 4,
I only had one question.
Page 4.
page 4.
There were two for 55-gallon drums, but one, it was very specific, but the other one I don't think was. That's why I asked.
Well, one is DEF, which is diesel exhaust fluid. $519.92,
Yes.
okay, that's the diesel exhaust fluid for the
Okay.
trucks. Where's the other one?
I guess the way, purpose I'm asking is I don't ever recall that being, since I've sat in this seat,
That high.
how often those
Antifreeze is
are.
the other one, on page 5.
Okay.
6 1 down. Antifreeze,
Yeah, that's the antifreeze. That one I understood. The other one I did not.
So they must have purchased EDF prior to this, because the truck's been using it for a few years, so. I don't know. Maybe it's slipped by.
Don't know, that's why I question.
Rodent repellent?
And the other thing is the I think these are the two porta potties, right? There's two different ones. And is it a monthly charge that we get or is that, yeah, okay, just double check.
Monthly charge.
All right, got
We
it.
have them at Bob Ben, and then we also have them at,
Curve wells.
yes.
And then once soccer season starts, you either, I think we put a third one.
Third one there, I agree.
We're closer to the
Definitely a good
field.
turnout for that kind of stuff.
That's all I have on those, on the bills and the abstract.
Okay. And while we're discussing it, did you see the step repair?
I did. It's worth
Oh, it
$7,000.
So nice.
Or no, $6,000.
Yeah, but then there was an
There's a
additional,
block, correct,
additional one, and that's because it was a requirement to put that block at the
Correct.
bottom of the ramp.
Yep.
And he erred on the railing.
Mm-hmm.
He had originally quoted one, not realizing it required two.
Right,
Okay.
yep,
Oh, I
yeah,
like
definitely
that.
worth the,
It's gonna
the
be
7,400.
safety, yeah.
Okay, so, we have an additional $40,000.
Oh, my road looks so much better with those trees out of there, hanging
that's what-
over,
that's what
waiting
it's for,
to
it's
fall
for
on
the,
your head.
The contract for the tree trimming on the roadsides, for
Mhm.
both Stony Point and Point of Fair.
Yeah, Alan said.
So that
Stony
brings the
Point
total
got
to
a little bit
122,
too.
292.55. We have a motion to approve this?
Just some discussion on that, it's, I think they did a nice job also, I've gone down both.
Did you? Yeah.
But, you know, the actual amount is, you know, $7,400 over what he had quoted. And so, when I look at this, that's almost a 21% increase over the original quote. I just wish
I thought
they'd
you
be a little
originally
bit more
quoted
cost,
40,000.
35. We said we would spend up to 40,000. So,
Well, this is up to.
Well, did you review the copy of the bill where you kept track of all the
I did.
man hours?
I did.
And that shows it's actually $2,400 above this.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But we had approved a max of 40, so we're paying the 40.
Right, correct, even though that amount is actually more than what he was, so.
I don't know how much
21%
time-
increase is a lot.
They spent
When you
at Stony
give an
Point,
estimate.
but I know that they
Well,
were.
I'm just throwing it out
at
there.
their
I mean, I think Richards Tree Service does a wonderful job.
I think it
I
would
think that, but when you're budgeting and you're trying to, you know, plan for things like this, that extra amount is,
I don't have this quote in front of me, so I can't speak to it very well, but I do know that he was in today, because I talked to him about this. There was many areas in Point of Fair, and I think also in Stony Point, but definitely you referred to Point of Fair, where, you know, at first look through to
Mhm.
try to come up with as close a price as you can,
Mhm.
and you see that you have to, that tree's gotta be removed. And then when he removes it, he finds that there's two more that had fallen over that are
right,
leaning, ready to fall, and he took those down as well.
right,
Well,
yeah, we had
You
a
know,
discussion
so
in the
there was-
coffee shop
There was
about
stuff hiding behind
Right.
stuff.
Right, yeah, I knew,
But
I knew
thought
it was
that-
coming.
I thought that we were within quote at 40, and
That's where we set the cap,
Yeah.
at least that, I believe I made the motion.
I know it's
So,
capped, that,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, so,
While we're still, just before we go ahead and approve, what's the timeline for the next time that we would need to probably go and have this done again?
Probably this fall, because we've got 8 or 10 dead ash trees along areas of the road. Alan's gonna tackle the ones that he can,
Mhm.
but there's probably 2 or 3 that are either too close to houses, at least 3, and or wares,
Mm.
where he can't do it. So there will be another,
It's tricky.
the ash borers have hit one of mine, that's,
the golf course has 30
Such a
dead ash
shame.
trees.
yeah, Yeah.
It's not good.
no, all the flecking you can see as you,
So when you,
You know,
when
you
you go
take
to the top,
walks.
you go to the top of Prospect, you notice in front of Rainy Angel's house, that huge tree is dead.
Mm.
and look at the proximity to the house and the telephone wires that are running underneath it, which are the fiber optic wires, the communication wires, you know, big one. That one, I think, will have to be tackled by somebody to take it down in pieces.
Those trees have never really recovered from the ice storm, a lot of them.
Well, yeah, that's true, but this one happens to
But
be
this
the
is
ash
because of
borer.
the ash borer, yeah. But I mean on Point Fair.
And let's hope they don't go after our maples, because I'm told they will do that if they
Can't find the ash.
can't find the ash.
Yep,
Oh.
but I'm trying to leave mine up as long as I can.
In the holes.
Keep feeding them.
So anyways, could I have a motion
I have an idea what I'd
to
like to
approve
do.
the monthly bills with the additional totaling, $122,292.55.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills, including the additional one added for the total specified by the supervisor.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Maury,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Carries. Report from the Code Enforcement Officer. Have you all had time to take a look at it?
I have a question in regards to the item toward the bottom, attended lead service line inventory informational meeting, LSI,
Okay, so this
is
is
due October, what is that?
huge.
I know it is, but I mean, I'd like the public to know what this is.
Yeah, so what this is being mandated by the state, I believe, right? It's by New York State. That we have to inventory every service line throughout our system for,
Lead?
yeah, to ensure that they're all lead-free. And if they do contain lead, of course, it has to get reported. So we have to literally, for an example, our new district, we know what's there, you know, based off the as-built, so that will create an inventory without having to physically look at stuff. But there will be cases where we need to possibly go into basements to check to see what the service line is coming into a house, for example. Possibly dig to see what a valve is that's, you know, like a street valve, a curb stop, for an example. Places in the older parts of the system where we have no records whatsoever.
So I have two questions. How often does this have to be done? And because we're looking at October, what is this budgeted for? You know, what are we looking at? Any idea?
Not yet. Chris has been working on this. So, you know, been working with Rouse's Point and the Village of Champlain as well to try to figure out how we're gonna get this done.
Okay.
Rouse's Point, of course, has so many homes to inspect and lines, et cetera. I think they're considering buying a piece of equipment to go in there and scope it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Chris and I don't think it's necessary for us. We don't have that many.
Okay.
But that's what we're trying, he's been working on trying to figure out how to get this done. There are apparently outside sources that we could contract.
Right.
We don't know the cost of that, so we're investigating that as well. So maybe I should have him next month, if he can try to report on that, it might be good.
Well, I'm just thinking, you know, it doesn't seem like a long way off, but, you know, where you know fall will be here
Oh, yeah.
in the cold weather.
Yeah,
Does that impede this process? I mean, I don't know.
it
I
does.
don't know enough about it.
Well, it would, so like I said, you have to, if you don't have records of what the materials are, you have to physically check them to create the records.
So this device that the Village of Rouse's Point is looking at possibly purchasing, does it actually go inside the line?
I believe so.
Okay, so I didn't know if it was sound wave, I guess I didn't know the
I don't
technology
know
that's
for sure.
used to kind of.
I don't know for sure, but that's what I understood when Chris explained it.
Okay.
But I think it's like $32,000 for that piece of equipment.
Ouch.
Wow.
So Chris was, pushing, because we were asked if we'd want to share that cost.
Right.
Chris, at this point, Chris thinks there's too few places that we have to physically do that to.
And it doesn't sound like this is something that has to be done on an annual basis. It's like, because of the initiative coming down from the federal, is where this is coming from.
Yes, and then, so once you have the system completely inventoried,
Right,
as you add new pipes, new
Correct.
valves, whatever, it's gotta be added to the inventory list, you have to maintain it.
right,
But no, this would be a one-time.
Okay. all right, thank you. That answers everything for that, I believe. And Sunfish Drive, where's that?
It's off 9B by the pavilion.
Yeah.
Oh, the where?
Yes.
By the
Pavilion.
cow palace.
The
Pavilion
trailer
Cow
That's
park?
called Sunfish Drive?
Yes, yes, I knew, I'm sitting and going.
Need to get out more.
Bus, but I couldn't remember where.
Yeah.
I mean,
sounds
it's
good.
fitting if it's not far from Lake Champlain.
I think it connects to Trout Terrace too.
Any other questions on the report?
No.
Okay. Correspondence. No, excuse me. Back up. Monthly dog report from the dog control officer. Any questions on that?
Yeah, can I cross any dangerous dogs again?
I guess I do have one.
Okay.
Complaint 0505-23.
Yep.
20 or so dogs? So is it a puppy mill, is it,
I don't know the answer to that one. I'm gonna have to check with him again on this. I didn't discuss this one.
because it sounds like a breeder.
So I think,
Oh, I know what that is.
You do?
is that what that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the pack.
so I thought,
That's what that is.
Thank you.
that's what I thought.
That answers it.
They have kennel license.
Okay, yep, we're good.
Okay, planning board minutes. Stop me if you have any questions on these as I go. And EMS report. I wanna comment that their average response time is decreased to 1.72.
Thank you.
I thought it was great at 1.8s and 1.9s. It's amazing. For the year, they have a total of 654 calls, 10,292.8 loaded miles. Amazing. JCO report. Fresh food delivery, 25 families per week, that's an awesome thing. And
53 households.
53 households.
That's
correct.
wonderful.
Yeah. So, everybody please feel comfortable your tax dollars are at work doing good things. Charter communication. And Town of Huntington Voters Identification Resolution. We weren't asked to act on this, were we, I just kind of perused it to.
Now, first of all, this is an area down in Long Island. That's the first thing I'd point out. But number two, Jay, maybe you can answer better than I can. In terms of how does the Board of Elections actually identify with revisiting on an annual basis, or maybe even it's more often than that, whether or not those particular roles are accurate and up to date? I almost feel like I would not wanna move forward with acting on this, even if you look at the way it was voted on within their own council, it was 3-2. I would say I wanna know what our local Board of Elections actually does first before we do anything at all.
Yeah,
In
I wouldn't
regards
suggest
to
that we
this.
do. I was just asking.
Right.
Cause I didn't review it completely.
I mean, I think it's a wonderful idea, because it's not a partisan thing, you know, but I don't know what our local Board of Elections does now.
It's a good question, Rick, and I'm surely not qualified to answer that. I don't know what their timeline is. I know that purging of the rolls is supposed to happen on a regular basis.
Right.
Whether they do it annually, whether they do it every 6 months, whether they do it every 5 years, I don't have the answer. So that might be a question we might want to talk to the county about, and maybe go from there. But it's supposed to happen on a regular basis.
Correct. Okay. Engineering services agreement for sewer district number 7. Time to review that. The Barton and Legis letter of notice of intent, they will be taking care of this. As you can see, they put petitions for our review. They gave a list of the involved agencies that they're going to send it to. So unless you have any suggested revisions to this, I thought it was fine.
And I guess I do have one question in regards to that. It has to do with their area number 1. It actually indicates if further assumed the preparation of an environmental impact statement will not be required. Should a positive declaration be declared by the town board, B&L would prepare a supplemental agreement for these additional services. We're not looking at any additional cost up and above the $9,500 that we have already committed on, correct?
No,
All right.
no. To the best of my knowledge, no, that is in here as well.
And then in terms of section number 3 on the funding application assistance, are we only looking at the WQIP for that? I thought we were looking at,
We are.
is this strictly the July?
Yeah.
Okay, then that is
Referring
fine.
to the July deadline for WQIP.
Okay,
No, there's 3 others that
correct. That's why I'm asking that.
we're going after.
Yep.
Bless you. Okay. And the website proof. Got one color, 2 full.
Wonderful.
It's too bad when, I couldn't get the print out like separate pages. I'm going to print, that's the only way I can find to do it.
Do we have an idea in terms of timeline as to how a lot of these links are slowly gonna be implemented?
So, yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but I think that
And how much is gonna be done in-house? How much is done by them? There's a lot of questions I guess I still have on this, but it looks wonderful.
It
Very,
does.
very, it flows. It's very easy.
So there's 2 points I gotta make though. One, first page, front page, Sarah informed me it's a requirement that we have our water quality
Correct.
reports on it, correct? So they're gonna need to add that. Rick, you pointed out a misspelling somewhere.
I did. The last page, northeastern is missing an N at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But I sent that back to Melissa.
Did you? Okay.
I did.
Okay, so that's taken care of. My question to you is, before I comment to them, the very front page, towns and villages, should that say Champlain above it?
I don't know, I've got to look.
Because the only place that it lands is at the top left corner of the toolbar. I call it toolbar, if that's right, term or not. I think we should say Champlain, then underneath the town.
I think it does at the top.
It does, but it's very.
Small.
It's very small, oh,
Right,
yes.
correct. And then in terms of the welcome, it kind of jumps right in and says the town of Champlain. But, yeah, I see what you're saying.
If you agree, I'll suggest that, I'm sure we'll add it.
You see what he's saying?
Yeah,
I do.
I do.
And it is kind of remiss. Like if you just pulled this up and you didn't do any other reading, you'd say the town, okay, well, what town?
That's what I
And then
mean.
you'd say 2 villages, what villages? You almost have to continue to be able to identify with what that is. You're right.
So you'd like to make it the town of Champlain with 2 villages?
No, just put Champlain above it. Above that sentence.
Oh, I see, okay.
Just
Yeah.
simply Champlain, the town of 2 villages, so at least they know where they're at. I mean, I guess they should. Oh, it's not there.
I kept on clicking on the video,
I'd
went to
like
the
to-
video, and I'm like, video doesn't work. I'm like you, no patience.
I know,
I'm
right?
like, come on, let me see it.
Give it to me, baby.
It's gonna look great, but I wanna see it. Yeah, it looks really
I
nice.
hear you.
And it just, in general, looks just easy to navigate.
It is.
And I
It
don't,
does.
and I think that's what, not only is it sleek, but for anybody that may be, right, website challenged or internet
Correct.
challenged, this really just kind of, it's very clear. It even says, if you are a resident, here's the place you're gonna go to get, if you need a permit, you need this, you need that, like, it's very, you know, it's.
The only thing I would add, and again, I think I suggested this before, is I've gone to a slew of websites, and I've designed websites, and I'd say, one of the things that makes it very easy for people that don't wanna do the searching, don't wanna go through, you need a search bar somewhere, you need a search option so that people can just type in and it automatically
looking
takes
for
them there.
something,
That's
yeah.
good.
That's not there.
That's
So,
not there.
other than that, I think it's spectacular. I love the colors, I love the flow, I love the,
So I can ask that question as well.
I thought it was well done.
In the resident resources, they don't got nothing in there about taxes either, or taxes, somebody wanted to look for.
Well, I don't know, see, it's not an active button, so I don't know if that's where you're gonna find it, under residence resources. I'm assuming that's where you'll find all those links, but I think you have to click on it to get there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, those should be active links to take you to another page.
Right, and the only one that we don't want, that's probably where he intended to put the water, reports. That has to be on the front page, separate. So I didn't talk to him how he can make that happen.
Right.
Because it's a requirement of the county.
That's so that they move there, that they know if they move here, they're not moving to a place that has bad water.
Yeah, they need to be able to look at the annual reports, and I think currently on our site it goes back to 2018.
Yeah, and it's just too bad that they require that on the homepage, but
Yeah. Kind of strange.
So, but maybe we can, if it's a matter of balancing, maybe we can find something else that's equally important, then that can, you know, either it can rest where you maybe have two, you know what I'm saying? If it's gotta live on that first thing you see, maybe there's then some other tab or some other link that can live there. Maybe it's what
Yeah.
Julie just said or something, maybe it's.
it almost takes away from, you know, what you have there now. You know, Champlain, the town of 2 villages, explore and to have water somewhere, it's like, huh? It just.
Water? I thought I was moving by the lake.
Yeah. Do you think we need to set up a Zoom meeting with them to go over these details before we move forward further? So we can be together and discuss it?
We could just write a few things down, let them look at it, and then it's
I
like,
mean, I can,
okay.
what I was intending to do was to provide this information to them by email, and then hopefully get a phone conversation with Aaron to discuss each item. But
I think
if
that
you
would
think we
work.
should do it as a group, we can. But I'm trying to move it forward, so I thought that may be the fastest way.
Or, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think either one of those, or some hybrid of that works, yes. Where we compile and then talk on the phone, or if people feel like they would like to be part of a more live conversation, we can do the Zoom.
I'm trying to remember, because one thing, when you look at a PDF, it's not always the way you're gonna see it on a web page.
Right.
So that homepage, I'm almost wondering, does it just show this, does anybody know? Or does it show, what appears?
I don't know, when I looked at it, it looked like.
So
that
it's
was the
misleading
first
to
page.
me, because, I mean, I guess I could see something put in there underneath, because you've got this wonderful video, you've got this introduction of the town along with the 2 villages, and the emphasis is on the water. So I could see like something with water being put there, but I almost think that the county would still find fault with that, you know what I mean? I don't know, that's good, they're gonna be challenged on that one.
Well, when I talked to Aaron, I'm sure he's been down this road before with Plattsburgh, you know.
Must be.
So
Where do
must
they
be.
put theirs?
The requirement.
Exactly, I need to look at that.
Is it gonna be, because he has a lot of pull-down menus at the top that you can't access yet. But what you're telling me is it has to be visible, it can't be hidden in a pull-down menu.
I don't know, maybe on that top bar on the pull-down menu.
I bet you it can, and
Bet
if
you it
that's the
can.
case, then I think this is gonna flow a lot better.
Right.
Like if it gets its own tab or something like that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, I
Correct.
think that would make
The,
sense.
the other thing I would recommend
It would.
is can we look at what the mobile, if they can show us what the mobile version looks like?
Right.
Because the mobile version is gonna be different than what.
That's what most
people's-
people are gonna check it on.
Yeah, I had to
That's
say,
true.
yeah, I mean, not that we don't wanna see what you would see on a PC
Right.
or a Mac, but also we need to see what the mobile version looks like, cause that's gonna have a different
Much
flow and
smaller.
feel to it.
I agree.
Okay. So you already sent yours, you have no other comments besides this to provide?
And you wrote down about the search?
Yep.
Yeah, cause that part's
That's a biggie.
biggie.
Well, there is a search in the top corner here. Right in the top right corner, that's your search indicator.
I don't see it. I see,
The little,
I see directory
magnifying
town,
glass.
and then I don't see,
Rate of contacts. Just right
I'm not
here.
sure where you're,
Right here in the top right corner.
It's cut off, though.
yeah, I don't
Is
see
it
it.
cut off on yours?
I don't see it,
Pass
yeah.
that one down. Yeah, it's there. It's the top right corner, but it's not a, I'm sure if you click on it, you're gonna get the search bar.
No, that's all you need.
Yeah.
No, that's the only thing I was asking about.
Okay.
Yep, perfect. So you can scratch that.
So,
Good.
it's pretty small font. I just found it.
Get your magnifying glass out.
Okay. Jason, after the meeting, maybe you and I can try to schedule,
Yeah, well,
we're gonna need a couple hours.
yes.
Okay. All right, moving on, new business. Resolution number 17, building permit fees and schedule. So before I do the resolution itself, have you had time to look at the building permit fees? And I believe that there's been 2 added since you got your copy. Because Chris added 2 more things, like a day or 2 ago.
Wasn't that what
I
you
don't-
sent out,
I don't-
Julie?
I don't
The-
think we
the
got it,
update?
but I'll pass this around. All it is under residential, fence, $30, under commercial industrial, signs, $50.
That's on here.
You do have it there? Okay, I'm
Yep, it
sorry.
is.
Awesome. I didn't think you had it. Any issues with any of these presented with this draft?
These are-
So if you put up a fence in your yard, you're going to have to come up with $30 to do that? Because I'm planning on doing that soon.
Yeah, you are.
Ah, well, I thought that's why I lived in the country.
Would you say that these numbers are,
Yeah, they're compatible to
that's
the,
what, yeah,
to,
standard industry numbers or
Other
standard
places.
I
municipal
think,
numbers?
I think in compared to town of Eatontown, town of Shazy.
Okay, I think that's fine.
Well, that's cool.
And I think his comment was, they're not the max amounts compared to others, they're in the median range. We were very low compared to everybody, so he just tried to get it up into a median range.
Yeah, they haven't been changed in a while, and it's probably time that they're reevaluated. Should we also set some kind of parameter that they maybe get reevaluated so often?
Well, the extra piece showed you 2003.
That may be too long.
Yeah,
Well, I think it ought to be revisited every 5
I
years.
was about to say, that's probably a better number.
Yeah, I guess we need to,
Can we amend the resolution so that is added in as verbiage?
we can, but we need to, what's gonna trigger that? That's what I'm thinking. What's gonna trigger that 5 years from now?
I would say that,
'Cause I think the time
can
is
you
up.
use, can you use the fiscal year that the town uses? I don't know.
Simplify things, I think.
I'm just trying to
Well,
make
I'm
it
thinking-
simple.
Well, that's why I think time to time a resolution is good, because what if there's a need prior to that 5 years, that something needs to be changed, added, and revised?
Can't we include that?
Now, I think separately, we need to find a trigger to evaluate some of these things, like you said, on some sort of annual basis, or in this case, 5
Can we
years.
say from time to time, but no greater than 5 years?
But then you gotta hold yourself to it. I don't know if we have a trigger to do it. Seriously, I mean, a lot of these things I've asked Sarah to, you know,
Yeah.
put in the files so we don't miss it, because that's what happens.
And
Especially when you transition from board to board over time.
yeah, that verbiage whereas the town board if required, will adjust the building permit fees and schedule from time to time. Time to time. I don't know what that means. I feel like I'm watching
Very
a
vague.
show. Is that, be more specific, so in other
We-
words,
We've used it in other resolutions.
I know that,
That's where I
and
took
it
from.
really stands out here. Yeah. Time to time by resolution.
Well, you could just say, as needed.
Yes,
Simple as
that's
that.
what I would,
That's true, that would.
correct,
So you
as
want,
deemed necessary,
so I
or,
can make a
yes.
hand revision and revise it tomorrow and send it to you. So, and schedule as needed by resolution. Is that okay?
Mhm.
That
Okay.
sounds good.
And
It's a lot for a communication tower.
Whoa, yeah.
I wonder what constitutes a communication tower. Are we talking about like strictly, like charter, cable? Talking about
Like the
cell
cell
phone.
towers.
telephone,
Yeah, like the
correct,
cell
correct.
towers.
Okay, so,
Radio stations, does that qualify?
I don't think so.
just communicating going on.
$5,000. But,
Verizon can afford it.
well, I'm thinking about small companies. I'm not talking about the mega. If I can use that term, it's so often used now and kind of overemphasized. I'm thinking of like small radio companies like WIRY
Well,
or some of these other,
our current from 2003 is $5,000.
I know.
He didn't change it.
I know that,
And the same thing with addition to existing towers, always been $3,000. So that's
yeah,
been
it
going
just
on
seems
for
like.
20 years. And obviously, it wasn't outstanding compared to the other towns, or he would have lowered it. I can question him on it, but
So when's the last time, anybody have an idea, when the last time a tower was put up in the town of
I
Champlain?
think it's the one on the
Less.
Matot Road.
yeah.
So they were charged $5,000.
Yep,
Where Carl Shank lived?
yeah,
I
that was the
remember you
last one, I
talking
think,
about
on the
that
Matot Road.
one.
And then
And then,
they added stuff on the one on the Ridge Road, and they were charged.
yep, and then we have the one that went on the glass road, but that was a government tower, so they didn't,
They didn't have to
require.
pay?
I was gonna say, maybe.
That
you
must
know,
be
so
what they
if-
normally
If the new Port Patrol
Pay,
station.
because there was
Right.
nobody that questioned
No,
it.
got
Right.
And they-
They don't have to
That
go
charge,
through
yeah.
permits.
They're exempt?
They're federal, if they're federal, they're exempt from that.
Yeah, so, must be supremacy of law.
So you never okay to go to resolution as revised?
I guess
Yeah,
compared
I
to
think
what other
everything
paper
was-
fence. it's
Again, for
roughly right.
what I should have knowledge
No, I'm
of.
just gonna read it then.
Oh, okay.
So Resolution 17, Town of Champlain Building Permit Fees and Schedule, whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board, the Town Board has identified the need to revise the building permit fees and schedule. And whereas the building permit fees have not been updated since June 11, 2003, and whereas the Town Board, if required, will adjust the building permit fees and schedule as needed by resolution to meet the needs of the Codes Department. And therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Champlain does hereby approve the revised and updated building permit fees and schedule dated June 13, 2023. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 17 for the Town of Champlain building permits and fee schedule as read by the supervisor with the suggested, sorry,
Second.
can I add some more words in there for it, Joe?
And seconded by.
She only got 2 words down, just so you know.
She does that shorthand, essentially.
Thank you, Joyce Larrabee.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, let's do
Councilmember,
roll call.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Maury,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter, Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Motion carries, thank you. I'll revise that form and give it to you. Read that out. Okay, resolution 18, adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court. Resolution 18, resolution to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2023 National Fitness Campaign. At a meeting of the Town of Champlain Town Board held on June 13, 2023, wherein the following action was taken. Whereas the Town of Champlain has submitted a grant application to National Fitness Campaign, NFC, for participation in their 2023 initiative to install and activate outdoor fitness courts in 200 cities and schools across the country. And whereas the Town of Champlain will accept a $50,000 national grant from our NFC grant committee and statewide partners, and provide a local match in the match amount approved by NFC grants committee to promote and implement a free to the public outdoor fitness court. And whereas the Town of Champlain will secure supplemental funding as needed through community sponsors which will be made available and committed to this program for the purchase of the outdoor fitness court. And whereas the Town of Champlain will commit to construction and launch of the outdoor fitness court by the end of 2023 calendar year. And whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board believes the outdoor fitness court is an important wellness ecosystem that supports healthier communities, commits to funding, fundraising to participate in NFC's 2023 campaign, and will earn local and national recognition as a leader in providing affordable health and wellness. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Champlain Town Board will collaborate with NFC to implement the outdoor fitness court and make fitness free to community residents and visitors. I have a motion to approve said resolution as written. You can have discussion after the motion's on the floor if you'd like.
So this $50,000 grant, that is for the whole territory, which is,
Yeah,
where are you thinking of using this?
This is required for the fitness center that we're trying to raise funds for. If as you read, you're probably thinking, oh, we have to come up with that match immediately.
Well, that's
We don't. We need to find the funds for it. If we don't by the end of the year, it'll roll into next year, but if we miss
this window.
accepting this now, it may not be $50,000 next year.
Oh, okay.
So they're recommending that we accept it and move forward, and if we don't raise the funds, we may have to say, sorry, you can have it back, we can't use it. That's essentially what it's about. So this resolution is just in order to guarantee that that grant fund is scheduled for us. Who's Brian was there? He was part of it.
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution number 18, about the outdoor fitness court, as read by the supervisor.
Well, it's a win-win.
It should be, yeah. I'll second it, because I can see that Rick has got qualms, so we need to talk
Yeah.
about it, we need to have discussion now.
You don't like giving money back.
Well, if you look at the fourth whereas, it says, whereas the Town of Champlain will commit to construction and launch
Mhm.
by the end of this year. Where's the funding coming from for this?
Mhm.
That's my question.
And that's where I was told, that, yeah, if you don't have the funding, you're gonna have to roll into next year.
But do we even have ideas of where this funding is gonna come from?
Could come.
Well, we got 10,000 from Hudson Headwaters, and I haven't received anything further from the outreaches I put out.
So then we'd have to come up with
There-
40,000?
There is more to go after as the programs roll out throughout the year, but,
Right.
um,
That's my only quandary,
Concern.
is that line, you know? It's like we're committing, on behalf of the town to go up with and start construction this year. And I guess I'm just curious as to, you know, what kind of construction can be done, given the current funds that are available and where are additional funds coming from, so.
The other,
Okay, so we may need to try to think of how to do this then, because if those are words that are holding this up, how do I back out of this one? Because what it could be done then is, it could be tabled. We're gonna have to schedule a special meeting in July. And I can have further discussion with them on. I wish Brian was here.
Have you,
'cause
have
he was
you,
part- He was part of the meeting.
like when you attended the chamber, did you ever bring this up? Because it's happening with others. Where are they getting their funding from? Are there private donors? Are there, you know, what industries are helping to commit to reach that threshold of 50? I guess that's what I'm looking for, Tom. I don't know.
But we actually have to raise more than that.
I know that.
That's the minimum.
I know that, that's the minimum. So I'm looking at the minimum to start with.
Mm-hmm.
well, that's a good place to start.
So we need,
Mhm.
as currently, we need 40 more to be doing.
Correct, correct.
What does this fitness court entail? What does it look like? What is it, how?
Oh, I provided that months ago to the board.
Probably 3 months ago.
Yeah.
They'd, it was probably a stack and
Vaguely remember.
Councilman Moore talked a little bit about it. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely useful. I just, you know, wanna make sure that we're not
Reaching
jumping
out
into
too
something
far.
and then, you know, we're kinda,
Locking ourselves in where we can't push it for next year.
that's it, that's all. That's all.
Okay, so you ever see this happen? So,
Well, we gotta do a roll call, see if
Yeah.
it passes, cause there was a motion on the floor.
yeah.
So, Councilmember Hunter,
Nay.
Councilmember Rochester,
I think I'm gonna have to go with nay as well, right now.
Councilmember Vori,
I made the motion, with the understanding that we didn't have to go through with it.
All right, so
So-
that's the agreement. That was how we're being driven, but I can't disagree with the strong words that I didn't.
Right, the argument made by Councilmember Hunter is
Mhm.
if, in fact, if they hold us to the letter of these words, it does say we're supposed to do it, so. Can I vote no on my motion? I suppose I can.
I suppose you can.
yeah,
No.
or Supervisor Trombley. It wouldn't matter anyways, yes or no, it wouldn't went through, there wasn't a 2 and 2.
I know, so it's not gonna matter
You
how I
would be the
vote.
Yeah.
first elected
My
official to
question
back
is, when
out.
the resolution gets voted down, can it-
So we can discuss it,
That's
right?
right, that's
It be
right.
brought back up
That's right.
and written.
I think so.
Okay, because that's why it needs to be done. I think it needs to be revised and then brought back up at the next meeting.
I would
The
agree with that.
wording,
I
yeah.
would agree with that.
Okay? So I'll vote nay as well. Because now I'm second guessing that wording, so. Not approved.
So then this is going on for, you think, a special meeting, or?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to contact them and discuss why that failed. And I will try to bring it back up. And it'd be under a new resolution, is that correct? Because this one is, the long history is
Well,
disapproved.
yeah, it'll still say, that one's 18, the next one will be a new one.
So I thought, okay. So moving on. 19, resolution number 19, to fund the sewer district 7 construction readiness. Resolution to fund the engineering services agreement between the town of Champlain and Barton and Judas for sewer district 7 construction readiness. Whereas the town of Champlain Town Board, the town board has identified a need to advance the sewer district 7 project towards construction readiness. And whereas the purpose of moving this project to construction readiness is to satisfy requirements to state and federal funding agencies. And whereas this engineering services agreement is to complete environmental review, complete the preparation of the map, plan, and report for district formation, and the preparation and submission of funding applications to the various state and federal funding programs. And whereas the cost associated with this agreement is in the amount of $9,500. And therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Champlain does hereby approve the transfer of $9,500 from General A fund balance to General A checking. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 19 as read by the supervisor.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Rochester?
I have rethought this over and over again, and I just do not want to go any further with environmental reviews. So,
Well-
no. Do I have to?
Well, that has already been decided upon,
That part.
That was the last meeting.
so you can't change that.
Okay.
This is just to move the funds from fund balance and checking to pay for it.
Right.
So this is just a moving of the money from the fund balance in order to pay for the services. But as far as moving forward with it, it's already been approved and decided upon.
Okay, but this only commits us to $9,500
Yes, so this resolution is strictly for moving the funds
funds, okay, so that we can pay.
from our general fund balance into the checking.
Well, I don't want to pay them, but I guess.
Councilmember Rochester?
But, since,
Well, you can say no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's true.
well, I mean, I want to be looking elsewhere, so I guess I would, if it's gonna pass anyway, I will say no.
Councilmember Bory?
I'm gonna be dramatic like anyone. No, yeah.
Councilmember Hunter?
Yeah.
Supervisor Trombley?
Yay.
That's good.
Thank you, Andy.
See, I knew Tom was gonna vote that way. I could've gone nay too. Cause I know how I voted last time. But this is strictly about moving funds. Yeah.
Well, I just don't wanna pay them, that's
Ah,
all.
well, hey, if you have that right to say that.
Okay, Cipriani Energy Group Solar Farm decommissioning plan. Did you hear back from them?
No.
Okay, so Julie sent them an email, gave them our revisions, required revisions. and
Right.
They haven't revised it yet, so this will have to be tabled, so I'll need a,
Oh, well,
yeah, I don't have a final plan. And seriously, I'm hoping they get it to us soon, because I really want our legal to look at it first.
and they should.
Before we approve it,
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
and I wasn't able to do that.
Okay,
So I left it on here so it could get moved to old business,
yep.
so I think we need to table
Table
it.
it to July?
I make a motion
Part of the
to
special.
No.
table it
Until
until,
we get it. We get it, wow.
yeah, till the next meeting, once it's
Okay,
been looked over by the attorney.
okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Yep. I have no
All in
problem.
favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So I don't know if you've looked at it further, but in all due right, you need to look at the finished version, and that's not it.
So does that include also, no, I guess it doesn't.
No, there's
The,
no,
well, the FEAF, that's what I'm asking in terms of, do we move forward with this also?
Yeah, this is a secret for the school district.
correct.
Okay.
This has,
Okay,
Yeah, it's not. it's-
okay, two different things, yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
So now, the seeker for sewer district number 7, this is part 1.
Right,
It was provided to you for review. It's not a requirement for me to read every bit of this throughout the meeting, if you're good with the way you now answer the questions. I didn't see anything, but,
I don't, I'll be very honest, I don't have knowledge as to, like, the total anticipated liquid waste generation per day of 26.6. I don't have knowledge of the number of acres, parcel size, so I'm going strictly on
mhm.
Supervisor Trombley, your investigation as to what those numbers are that you provided. Other than that, I didn't see an issue with.
Well, the 26.6 is an estimation from, the report that they originally did on
Okay.
this district.
Well, therein lies the rub.
Okay.
I trust Tom, what he says, but.
I do, but those, I'm just pointing out, we
Yeah,
have no
right.
way of acknowledging what that,
Correct.
but
So
the yeses and nos seem
As
to.
you wouldn't with any engineering firm that
Correct.
prepared this, you would go through and read it and go, yeah, I agree with that, it sounds right.
Well, even current acre
When we-
change and.
When we get to part 3, I believe we'll be required to read now.
Part 3?
Part two.
Part 2, I mean, excuse me.
Right,
Well, I don't know, it was,
because part 2, you went through,
That-
we had another one of these before.
the thing is that
No, we may be zooming
that
them,
the
but I don't think it's coming. I don't wanna pay for the trip.
I don't blame you.
So if you don't have anything that's outstanding that you think is incorrect the way they're reporting this, I'll move to the resolution, which will give me the,
And they're the ones that provided the map,
correct.
I see that. And strictly those dotted areas.
Put my map back here. Not there.
So it's the heavy black line with the arrows. Okay.
Can you point to it on your map, Rick, is this what
No,
we're talking about?
no, it's right here. It's this, the dark black line, and it's got arrows. If you'll notice up here in the legend,
Okay.
proposed sewer,
No, wonder I
Forest
got the
Main.
darn thing upside down.
and it's, yeah.
No. Okay. That makes
And,
sense.
those involved agencies have been copied on all of this, so the Village of Rouse's Point is included.
Yeah, they will get that letter.
Army Corps of Engineers, DEC, Parks and Recreation.
Okay?
Yeah, I was fine with it, it's just like I said, that was the only thing I had
Okay,
questions on.
so resolution 20, declaring lead agency for seeker, will also give me the authority to sign that. So resolution number 20, proposed action, Town of Champlain Sewer District number 7 project. Resolution declaring the intent of the Town of Champlain Town Board to act as lead agency. Whereas the Town of Champlain Town is proposing the Town of Champlain Sewer District 7 project located in the Town of Champlain and Village of Rouse's Point, Clinton County, New York. And whereas the project has been classified as a type 1 action as defined by the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, in 6 NYCRR Part 617.4, and whereas It is the intent of the Town of Champlain Town Board to assume the role of lead agency for purposes of conducting a secret CERT assessment of the project. And whereas part one of a full environmental assessment form, FEAF, has been completed, reviewed by the Town of Champlain Town Board, and will be circulated to all interested and involved agencies for purposes of establishing the Town of Champlain Town Board as lead agency, in accordance with 6 NYCRR Part 617.6B. Now therefore be it resolved and determined that the supervisor of the Town of Champlain hereby is authorized to sign Part 1 of the FEAF, page 13. And it is further resolved and determined that the Town of Champlain will send said Part 1 of the FEAF and associated site figure to the attached list of interested and involved agencies under cover of a notice of intent to establish lead agency. Letter for the purposes of establishing lead agency status under the secret/CERT. And it is further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Champlain, the Town Board, together with the Town of Champlain attorney and B&L, are hereby authorized to take all actions, serve all notices, and complete all documents required to give full force and effect to this determination. Okay, there's page
So,
2.
did everybody else have, this was not with this, even though they referenced under the resolved and determined, attached a list of interested and involved agencies. This was not with this. This was something I got separate, so
It went,
does everybody have access to that?
yes, I think I had,
That went with the letter.
Letter.
It did.
Yeah.
Correct,
So
okay.
those are the people that
Okay.
will get it.
And they titled this, I believe, in parentheses, under a cover, the notice of intent to establish lead agency. Is that what that was? That letter?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's all I need. Okay, I'm good.
and,
Thank you.
and actually they are the ones that, according to his email, are going to handle mailing all those out. You know, here it said that we were going to do it. And the question of the adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote, and upon roll call, the vote was as follows.
Councilmember Rochester? Well, first we need a motion. We need a motion to approve the resolution.
Interesting. This format didn't have that.
And we need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as written. Want a second? And then we can do roll call.
I'll second.
Councilmember Rochester?
Can I abstain from voting?
You can?
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Councilmember Bory?
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter?
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley?
Aye. So the foregoing resolutions are thereupon declared duly adopted. Save date. And then Julie will fill in the rest of this.
Moving right along.
Put the seal on it too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Review of the revised employee handbook. I think we all had time to get a review in because
It's 100 pages. Takes a long read.
we're not gonna approve it tonight. It's on here.
I've been reading it, but
Because
no, I'm not sure.
we're gonna have to move this to old business. Because Sarah, mostly Sarah, she thoroughly went through it, and I have some revisions to be made. So I'm hoping to get, Jeff Travers is on vacation this week, so it's gonna postpone it till the earliest sometime next week when we're able to schedule it. And then we'll get the new draft and get it back out to you. We really want this approved for July. We're gonna need this in place.
You do, for the bargaining.
Yep.
When is the bargaining?
Soon,
Yeah.
like, real soon.
Like, next week or the week after?
Well, no, I've asked, and I haven't heard back back yet, so probably July. At the latest, I'm thinking, but I don't know yet. So anyway, we'll just move back to old business. We need to schedule a special meeting to complete part 2 of the seeker.
Excuse me.
The window of time has to be within the 17th of July and the 21st of July. The 18th works well for me. How does it work for everybody else?
Tuesday.
The when?
A Tuesday?
July
What day in
18th,
July?
Tuesday, July 18th, Tuesday.
I can't. I have a memorial.
That leaves me with the 19th or 21st, but I want to avoid Friday night meetings.
You want to have a wife at home, right?
Well, I'm trying to have a life.
Yeah, that's true.
19th works for me.
I can't do that.
And it'd be at nighttime, right? Or,
Yeah, it would have to be. We can, can make it earlier if we'd like. Set a time, whatever fits our schedules. Will we have enough on the 18th? Maybe not, but prior. If we do the 19th, we just won't have anybody to record. We'll have to do a recording of it. Julie, or would that
Yeah.
work? Give me the recorder and I'll try to take notes as best I can.
Did the recorder work last time?
Mm-hmm.
This is July, correct?
yeah.
He just
Hard to
doesn't-
believe, huh?
he doesn't trust his calendar.
No, I know he's wondering, he's like
We can't
questioning,
do it
geez,
right
we
here.
normally meet on.
I can, I don't know if everybody else
Well,
can.
they're not in school.
Yeah, here we are.
That's what I'm saying, it could be during the day.
Could
You're not
be
in
di-
school in July.
It could be during
We
the
could,
day.
we could do it during the
Yeah,
day,
you can do it during
on
the
the
day.
19th. I just can't do the 18th,
Can't do the 18th at all,
at all.
but we can do it
I will
during the
be
day of the
gone the
19th.
whole
Let's
day.
do that. We can do that, I haven't thought of that.
During the
And
day.
I don't work at the dental office on the 19th, and
Yeah,
on Wednesday in the
so
daytime.
July 19th.
Sometimes good for everybody.
Not too early,
Blah,
please.
blah.
11 works for me, I believe. Let me just go to the
11?
calendar real quick,
11?
just to make sure. Yeah,
That's good.
does that fit for everybody?
Works for me.
Okay, so, special meeting.
So 19th at 11 a.m.
So PM.
Let me know how it goes.
Thank God we haven't landed there yet.
Close though.
Okay, so you'll take care of
Yeah.
all the advertising needed for that, et cetera? Okay, the next thing was just Richard's tree service invoice, which we've already discussed. I'm gonna leave that here, because I'm gonna pull that again. So, under old business, on the water code, credit card, and the handbook, right? Okay? Any further business?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the, one more.
Oh, yeah.
Are we gonna do
Just noticed
in
that.
June, is it June, the 28th? Are we gonna bring that up, just as a discussion?
28.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Before it slips away and we don't realize.
Yeah, so the highway lunch?
Correct.
12 PM on
I
June
think
28th.
Yep, I think I have 1:30, but.
We'll,
Yeah.
within the next week, we're gonna have to get a list of what we're contributing.
Supply.
Do we want to put something together tonight?
Okay.
Yeah.
And can we make food for this?
Ken?
I want, Okay. Every time I talked about making food, I thought it was something that was not allowed.
Yeah, we can do it after the meeting.
Promise I don't plan on.
So after the meeting, we'll do it.
We need approval of the water.
Correct.
The water bills.
Yep.
I make a motion that we approve the detailed water billing register dated June 12th, 2023. Total accounts 181, total units 209, total water usage 1,606,000, total sewer usage 407,000.
I'll second.
I think so, yeah.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Carries, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
What is this?
We did that already.
Yeah, that was
That
just
was
my,
in there, yeah.
yeah, it was just in the packet to make sure we didn't forget it, and I wrote a resolution for it.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn, please. If there's no further business.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I don't want to stay here all night.
That's it, you ready to do?
2 hours. Just a minute.